Hey everyone, and welcome back to Court Farms on a very beautiful November morning. That dog. Hey boy. Normally I'll go to start the video, the dog's there and then he's disappeared. So we'll give him some food. So yeah, it is a very beautiful morning as we come out of our house. Very, very nice. So I've got a plan today to start off with a few fertilizing contracts, I should say, that I've accepted. I did replace the water tank for the Abbey, so this is just the base game Abbey one. It does hold less water, but just as we're using it for the rabbits at the moment, and possibly a little greenhouse that I'm going to put in, which actually we could do now while we're here. So yeah, I've got, yeah, we'll do the contracts first. So I have done a couple of ploughing contracts which we can accept overnight. So I did field 13 and 57. I don't think it was worth it for how long it took. So we get a reduction on that one for the lease cost. That's 3,676. So we'll accept that one. And then field 57, which was a big field, which actually right next to the farm. That's 10,547. So we'll collect that one as well. Just going to refresh. Sometimes after you've finished ploughing and cultivating contracts, you might get another fertilizing or lime spreading contracts. It doesn't look like it. So I have accepted 3 fertilizing contracts, which we'll do using our own equipment. I'm gonna probably get a fertilizer spreader to do those, as it'll be a bit quicker than the sprayer. So what I was thinking, this little area, chase those deers off. Just getting one of these small greenhouses. Okay, so we'll put in production greenhouses. I've got these little ones by Barty. They look a little bit older and say made out of doors and windows, and they're not nice big shiny things like this one, although they're just as expensive. So I'm going to put in one of these smaller ones in just over here, and I was trying to line it up so it's fine. So if I just turn off the rotation, so we've got 3 rotation, try and line that up with the house, or that wall of the house at least, as best as we can. I'm going to put one of these in here in this little gap. And I was thinking of getting the polytunnel as well, which is just a little bit bigger. Bring that over. Actually, I don't know where the pallet spawn point is. I think it's down this side, which I think that shouldn't be a massive issue. Bring it over a little bit more, maybe. About there. And then we'll just put a bit of dirt around those. Maybe just put a little bit across there as well. And then maybe a little path that comes off over here. We can access those. We'll need to give those get them some water. And then in the future, possibly, we've got go back to productions greenhouses. I've got some of these open ones as well. Maybe put a couple of those down as well in the future. We've got a bit more money. But we'll get some water into those. And they can then start producing some tomatoes or strawberries. So if we grab actually we can do it with the Land Rover now, because that water tanker works with it. Okay, so that's the water filled up on both of them. So if we go inside, well, actually I could have done with just leveling the train a little bit there. Realised it was not quite flat. So let's open our production menu and we'll do tomatoes in this one. I don't think it really matters. These are just like small base game greenhouses, so there's nothing crazy on the production. So we'll go with tomatoes in that one. We'll put lettuce in the foil tunnel. And yeah, I might just tidy up that bit of greenhouse a little bit. I just didn't realise it was quite so far off. I think the foil tunnel looks okay. Just trying to lower that ground down a bit inside there. That looks a lot better. There we go, we've got some tomatoes and lettuce on the go. We can get the water tank put back and then we'll head up to the store in the JCB to get a fertilizer spreader. We'll get some fertilizer as well, and then we'll have a go at doing those 3 fertilizing contracts to get a little bit more money into the bank, and then we can probably fertilize our canola field, and I may do the grass fields as well. Okay, so just been into the store and we've leased a Cleveland Geospread TLX spreader. So 42 meter spread width and 3,900 litre capacity. I've got 100 litres of fertiliser left in the bag on the front, but we'll take that with us. So we'll do the 3 fertilising contracts, starting with, I think, field 46 is the closest one, which I think we may be able to access off this road somewhere along there, hopefully. If we go kind of straight out the store, we should be able to get to that one. And then we've got field 88 up here as well, so we'll do that one. And then I think the other one is, yeah, field 41. So yeah, we'll do 45, 88, then we can work our way down this track to 41, then back to the main farm. Okay, so it looks like this is the gate into field 46, which I think the angle we're coming at might be easier to reverse in, because we've got that little bit of fence there stopping us coming in from that angle. So let's get our beacons off. So yeah, nice big spread width on this and decent capacity as well, so we'll be able to get quite a bit done. And I will, as we've doing it today, I can turn off the automatic application rate, and then we can put the application rate on the lowest, so we're not wasting any that's weird. There must be a slight conflict then with oh yeah. K&M to raise and lower the fertilizer also brings down the the front loader. Alright, so that's all set. We're on 42 meters. We've got the lowest nitrogen usage, so we're not going to be wasting too much. So let's get that switched on, and away we go, fertilizing field 46 for this contract. Okay, so there's the first contract complete. So we'll just accept that one. There's 11,310. I'll go and do the ones on field 88 and 41. I may need to get another bag of fertilizer. Oh. How much did we start off? We had 4,000 litres, so we've used 1,200 on that one field. So yeah, I'll do 88 first, and I may go back to the store and find my way out of this field. The gate's a bit further down here. Yeah, I'll do 88, and then as we're still close to the store, I'll probably head back and get another couple of bags of fertiliser, so we've got some for our own fields as well. I'll have to go back to the store because I want to pick up the crop sensor to do our own fields, or at least do the canola and the grass fields. So we'll get the gate closed. Yeah, I'll go and do the other 2 fields and then we'll head back to the farm. Okay, so we are back at the farm after completing the contracts. I've also bought a few more bags of fertilizer and leased the crop sensor for the JCB. So we can collect the money for those 2. So field 41, 4,324, and then field 88, 8,328. Pretty much covers the cost of the leasing for the equipment and purchasing the fertilizer. But we've got these to use now on our own field. So I did say I probably was going to leave this till spring, but I thought we'd do it now. And try out the crop sensor and this spreader. So if we just open up that menu, and then we'll change that to 18 meters. Automatic application rate is activated. We'll get the sensor unfolded. And I'm sure you're supposed to actually turn this thing on, but I don't know if it shows whether it's on or... fold crop sensor, low crop sensor... We need to turn that on. I'm sure last time I used the crop sensor somebody said I hadn't got it switched on, but I can't see how we actually switch it on. So yeah, I want to make sure if we have got it on that we are using it correctly. It's not something I use very often. I'm pretty sure somebody commented last time I used it I hadn't actually got it switched on, but I can't see how. I can see the option to lower and hold it, but I can't see an option to turn the actual thing on. Oh, there we go. Turn on crop sensor. So it's LB, RB on the Xbox controller and then X. There we go. So we should be good to go. So if we now turn on the spreader, although for some reason I can't actually turn the spreader on now. Because we're not in the field. Oh, I know why. I probably haven't connected the the PTO back up. I had to drop it off. That'll be why. There we go. Now we should be able to turn it on. So there we go. Let's get that turned on. Now we'll do the headlands first, then work our way around. So you can see on the... Let's just slow that down a little bit. We're going to be too fast there. Yeah, so you can see on the minimap we're going green, and hopefully with the crop sensor on we should get the best nitrogen application for the crop. So a bit like with this sprayer, with some of the corners we're not going to quite reach. I suppose it may have been better to do the headland with 21 meter spread, just to give us that little bit more coverage into the corners, and then done the up downs with the 18 meter. We are going green. It doesn't look like we're using a huge amount of fertilizer either. So what we'll do after this, I'm considering that we'll just do both grass fields, but I think I want to move the silage bales off the one grass field first so they're not in the way. So that's the complete pass. Obviously the automatic cut off now, so we shouldn't need to turn it off. It'll just apply it where it needs it. So we'll continue round and finish off the centre of the field using the tram lines we put in last time. Right, and there we go, that's that field all done. So let's get that switched off. It's not perfect, there's a few little spots where it missed. One of the problems as well is because we're not going on a complete 90 or 45-degree angle, sometimes it's a bit tricky, but let's just check the soil samples now. The nitrogen levels. There we go, it's mostly green, so we're going to get a lot better yield than we would before. But you can see our grass fields are very, very red. The silage bales aren't quite ready yet. I think they've got 98% fermented. So while we wait for those, I'm going to go and do the other grass field. And then hopefully by the time we've done this, the silage bales will be fermented. We can get those loaded up. I'm going to sell them. I was still debating now we've got a bit more money whether to get some cows. But I think for this year, I'm going to get sheep instead. Which just require hay. So we can sell the straw and silage bales. So we'll get the silage bales loaded up. We'll take those to sell. And get the money for those. The straw I'll probably leave until January or December, when the price is possibly a little bit better. So let's get that unfolded. Before we do this as well, just check. So the environmental score. So grass field is currently 50. So I'm interested to see if that actually goes up much. That one was already showing it's got the full nitrogen. So that one wasn't going to change from 87, but it'll be interesting to see if these two grass fields do go up a little bit when we put the nitrogen on these. So we'll get that switch on. Actually, what we can do, as we're not stuck to the tram lines, we can increase the spread width back to 42. I can remember how to do it now. There we go. Right. Let's get that switched on. Now let's get the grass field nitrogen levels up to where they should be. So that's the first grass field done. Get these switched off. And we'll just check again on that. That one hasn't actually changed. So nitrogen on there is still showing right down the bottom. That doesn't seem to have made any difference at all. It's now showing nitrogen perfect, 55 kilograms, 55 kilograms. So yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure I remember having that problem with the grass fields on Calmsden where I had to replant them to start getting the levels up. I kind of got stuck where they was really low all the time. So yeah, we'll see after the next cut and if that improves it. Okay, so we'll get the silage bales loaded up, or as many as we can fit on the trailer. I think we're going to do a few trips. to get them all. I can't remember, is it 40 silage bales I think we got, or close to 40. So yeah, I'm not sure how many we're going to be able to fit on each load, but if we can get, if I can actually get them on without knocking them off. If we can get, we're not going to get 20 on, so I think we're going to do 3 trips. We'll get all of them. But yeah, we'll try and fit on as many as we can reasonably without overloading it too much. I'll just try and nudge that one a bit squarer. One bale, you're doing everything but what I want you to do. There we go. That's a bit better. Right, looking at that, I think we'll take what's on there and one trip, because we're going to have to do 3 trips either way. So if we try and squeeze a few more on there and then do the same the next one, the final trip will probably only be about 4 bales. So just to play it safe, we'll take that as it is, which I think 14 bales. So 2 trips will be 28, and then that'll leave trying to think, 28, 12 bales, 11 bales I think for the last trip. So get that all connected up, we'll get the straps on and we'll see where the current best price is for silage. Silage is currently 338 at Pine Creek Bales, which I think is the highest. Let's just tag that place because I'm not sure where that is. Not there. Probably going to be one that's miles away. Where's Pine View Bales? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's up by the BGA, so that's not too bad. So yeah, we'll get these up there and then I'll get the rest of the bales loaded up. And we can get all these sold. Okay, so first 14 bales. See how much we get for these. There we go, 26,738 plus 743 environmental score bonus. So we should have another load similar to that for 14, and I think the last one's going to be about 11 bales. So I'll go and get the next 14 loaded up and we'll get those sold. Okay, so second load of 14. Should hopefully get a similar amount. There we go, another 26,743 environmental score, which pretty much exactly the same as the first load. and there are 11 bales left to do, so I will go and get the last 11 loaded up. I'll get those sold. That should take us up to around about 270,000. At least we'll, if we don't make any more money over the next few months, we won't have to worry about the loan repayments. Okay, so last 11 bales, and then we'll head over to the store and get the livestock attachment for this trailer, and then we can buy a few loads of sheep. So we go last 11, 21,013 and 584,000 environmental score. That takes up to 277,134. They're not doing too bad. A lot better than I thought we were going to do a few episodes ago. Really worried about that loan system, but yeah, we seem to be doing okay. So if we just nip straight across the road, watch the caravan. I did bring the pallet forks, so I swapped over to the pallet forks so we can take the pallet with the creels back with us. Now we'll spin around because I'm going to have to reverse into the animal livestock module. Stop that there. I think we need to remove the creels by hand. There we go. I'll just pick those up. I don't know if we'll go fit those on the forks. We'll see. So let's go and buy the livestock attachment for our trailer. So animal transport, keep it standard red, buy that 7,500. So I think we can get 12 sheep in one trip. So I think our pasture holds 100. I won't go to the full 100. Although sheep aren't actually that expensive, it's just more how long it's going to take us to drive backwards and forwards with only 12 sheep at a time. Do we need to attach this by hand as well? Yes. There we go. Manual attach is a bit funny on some things. There we go, there's our animal transport trailer. So we'll head over to the livestock market, which I think is, yeah, just down here. So straight down that track and then into the animal dealer over here. And we'll get our first 12 sheep for the farm. Right, so I'm thinking we'll get 50 sheep in total to start. That leaves capacity then for those to reproduce and fill up the rest of the pasture. It's a bit noisy around here. We'll get our trailer unfolded. We'll go for the fully grown sheep because we can actually buy lambs, which are obviously a little bit cheaper, but we'll... for this load we'll go with the bend time. So we'll get a full load of those, which will be 12. That's 1,733 for 12 sheep, so they're not particularly expensive at all. I'm going to say I'll probably do enough so we get 50 in total. That should give us a nice number to start with, and then we've got room for the reproduction. So we can get some lambs when they reproduce. Lambs are always quite cool to see when they're running around in the pasture with the enhanced animal system. I really hope it's something Giants add in the next game as well, where when you get newborns they are visually smaller than fully grown animals, like what we get now. Right, so we'll get our first 12 sheep into the pasture and then we'll top up their water and give them some hay. And then I'll go and get the rest of the sheep. So we're up to 50. Is it down this one? Sheep pasture? That's going to be tricky to get down there, isn't it? Actually, it opens up a bit. We can actually loop around. So yeah, it might be easier to go down that one and then loop around and come back out that one, possibly. Don't crash into the wall. Let's get the gate opened. Oh, that's a only 3,000 litres of food and 1,500 litres of water for 100 sheep. That's a very, very small feed trough for 100 sheep. I think we're going to be filling that up quite often. Get that unfolded. And get our first 12 sheep into the pasture. There we go. Although that pasture does look a little bit small for 100 sheep. Get the gate closed so they don't run off. But there is our first 12 sheep. Visually, can we see 12? The 6, 7, 8, 9... Yeah, so visually we can see 12 at the moment. Obviously we won't see all 100. But yeah, it's... Yeah, the feed trough only small. That means I'm going to have to be constantly monitoring that and making sure we don't run out of food and water. Let's just bring that round here. We'll just drop that off there. I'll leave that for a minute while we... Actually, I'll need to take this off because I'll need the front loader to get the hay. We'll disconnect that. We'll drop the creels off somewhere and then we'll get a bale of hay over to the sheep. The only one good thing with the sheep or the feed troughs is you can put a bale in there and it will just take from the bale as and when it needs it. So that's not too much an issue, but the water is going to be one that we're going to have to constantly keep an eye on and topping up. But as far as I'm aware, there's not an easy way to do the water for animals like an automatic watering mod or anything. One mod I did like on 19 was the... I can't remember what the mod was, the animal pen extension or something, where you could have a little water pipe with the tap on, so you could just run over and open the tap and fill up the water trough rather than having to take the tanker to it. I don't know if we'll see a mod like that in FS22. There is the automatic water irrigation mod, but I don't know if that works on animal pastures. I think that's just production buildings. That one you get charged a fee, so it's probably no different from the automatic watering you get with the sheds, where it does actually charge you each month for water. If you wasn't aware of that, actually, because I know a lot of people just think you don't pay, but in here there's actually the water costs. So if you've got cows in a shed where there's no water to fill up yourself, you will get charged monthly the water costs. I don't know how much it is. I think some people may prefer just be able to do it themselves. I think this one is the feed trough. On this side, I think the trigger is on the back. So if we drop that down there, hopefully... Yep, there we go. So we can leave that bell there, and as the feed trough goes down, that will just take from the bale. So the food's not so much of an issue because we could stockpile a few bales in the feed trigger. But the water's going to be one we're going to have to keep an eye on, because if they do go to zero water, they will stop production. Their health will start to drop as well. We've left that a bit too far over. Just about squeezed past there. One thing I do want to do as well next year is put oats in one of the fields so we can get some horses. I probably won't get many, maybe only a couple. But it would be nice to get the horses quite early, as they do take a while to get to their reproductive state and also get their value up, so they're worth selling. And with the enhanced animal system, the maximum value for horses is a lot more than the base game, so they are a lot more profitable. But yeah, I just need to get some water. We'll grab the Land Rover. I'll use that. This is another one of those mods that just needs the acceleration just turning down a tad. It like shoots off like a Formula 1 car on a lights out. Oh, and then the brakes are a bit rubbish as well. And now I'm probably too far away to attach. Don't know if there's a connection for that. Don't think there is. I'll actually fill this up as well while we're here. And then we'll top up the sheep's water. And that'll be the first 12 sheep at least. We'll have some feed and water. There's our dog. Just randomly wandering around, probably chasing rabbits. I haven't actually seen any of the wild rabbits. I did see something saying there was wild rabbits on the map. Like animals in... I don't know if it's just in one specific area. And I think the trigger as well on the water is on the back side. Yeah, it would have been nice if the feed trough and the water trough were a bit close to the fence up here, so you didn't have to drive in the pasture to top this up. Put it right up against the fence so you could access the trigger on the other side of the fence. Well, there we go. It's 1500 litres of water, and I'm going to actually leave this here because I've got a feeling I'm going to be having to come over here quite often and top the water up. Get my Land Rover to actually go the way I want it to go. Well, there we go. They've got water, they've got hay. So I'll go and get the other 38 sheep. So we can take us up to 50. And hopefully they'll start producing wool soon. And their reproduction will start. So we'll... I think it's 5 months for sheep, the gestation period. So sometime next spring, late spring, we should get our first newborns. Alright, so I'm back from the animal dealer with the final 12 cows. We're only going to go with 48. Seems a bit pointless driving all the way up there just to get 2 more. So I've got 12 of each type of the 4 different type we can get. As it doesn't matter, like on the old one, the more animals you had, the faster the reproduction rate was. So you can just mix and match the breeds without worrying about a reduction in the reproduction rate. I think it was a FS17 that was the... I think it was in 19 as well, in the base game at least. The more types of one breed of animal you got, the higher the faster the reproduction rate was. So things have changed since then. So final 12 going in. There we go, we're up to 48 of 100 and we have got 12 of each one. So if we just check now the animal page, so you can see the health's started going up on the first lot. The other 2 lots we've got. So their reproduction will start now, and I think they say 6 months, I think, or 5 months. So it's going to be come probably about April. I think we should see the first offspring. Chickens did run out of feed actually. I had to top them up so their health is down to 50%. I've completely forgot to check the feed, so I only had topped that before we started recording. And the rabbits seem to be doing well. And one thing I only noticed in editing, and somebody did comment as well in the last video, that the baby rabbits and adult rabbits were both 0 months, which I didn't even notice when I was actually buying them. So even though we purchased an adult rabbit, it's technically still a baby rabbit because it's only 1 month old now, and it needs to go through puberty before it then can start reproducing. So it's going to be a while before we get any baby rabbits. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be changed in an update, because obviously I spent an extra 70, is it, for an adult rabbit, which technically isn't an adult rabbit. That closed. Just shut that off. We'll leave that there for a second. Just go and have a look. It was only when I was going through the editing I just looked and I thought, oh, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, so yeah, rabbit, which is obviously we wouldn't buy one 12, but it's got quite a 100 with the transport fee, so £30 to deliver a rabbit seems a bit much. But they're 0 months as well, same. They just visually look different, so yeah. I never noticed, so we may have been better off just buying the baby rabbits. And I don't think we're going to be getting any offspring any quicker. Cracking the wall there. Where are our little rabbits gone? They are just having a munch on some grass. Yeah, so it's going to be a while before they get going. The greenhouses are up and running now. They've started producing some lettuce and tomatoes. So we've got 36 litres of lettuce and what's that, 73 litres of tomatoes. So they're not going to produce huge amounts, but if we get a pallet every now and then we can sell. Give us a little bit of extra money. And pigs, obviously, we could do. Might plan for those in the future. And this area, we can actually get in as a gate into here. I was thinking about getting one of the smaller open chicken coops and getting some ducks. I won't do that now because we don't really have the feed for the chickens and get some ducks, but that was something we'll do next year. I think it's going to be a nice area to put the put a little duck pen. So they're kind of next to the little pond here. One other thing we'll do as well is one other thing I wanted to put down, I think it's under animals and bees, is a few of these. Maybe putting them down in this little bit. It's not really much use for anything. Try and see which way around they are. So maybe a little apiary area down here. So we'll disable the ground collisions. I don't know if these will produce much honey over winter, or if any honey at all, but maybe if we just rotate them around a little bit. Get a couple more in. And we just need the pallet spawn location, which we can put down somewhere where it's not going to be in the way. Turn on the interactive zone markers as well, so I can actually see which way and the actual spawn point is. I wish there was a keyboard shortcut for turning this on and off without having to go in this menu. It would be handy if you could just toggle it on and off in game without going in there. So animals, bees, and spawn point. I'm just going to put the standard one down. I want to put it somewhere where it's out the way. Maybe, I think maybe possibly in this shed. I don't know if I'm going to use this shed for anything in particular. We can always move it in the future if need be. So maybe if we put it, let's disable the rotation. Can get it lined up with the side. Yeah, we'll drop that down in there. So our honey pallets all spawn in there, so they'll be out the way. So we've got our greenhouses, we've got some honey on the go. In the future we'll get some ducks so we can get some duck eggs. I'll possibly look to try and get a pen in so we can get some goats as well, because we do have the ability to get goats, which we can get goat's milk. But I don't think they would work with the sheep pasture that we just put the sheep in, because I don't think there's a milk trigger for milk to spawn from them. I'll just get those turned back off. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I'll get the other grass field fertilized, so that's ready for next year. We won't be getting another cut now as we'll be going into December. Yeah, our canola's done. The other two fields we'll do in the spring. We'll get them ploughed, get oats into one and barley into the other. But yeah, so we've got some chickens, we've got the eggs production, we'll have some honey, we've got tomatoes, lettuce, and we'll have some wool soon as well. So yeah, we'll leave it there for today. So I've got a plan for next month. Do a bit of winter work. And let's see if we can make a bit more. Oh, we've got exactly 260,000. So yeah, we'll leave it there, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Really do appreciate that. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing. We've got more Farm Simulator 22 content coming up with this series, and also the time-lapse series and live streams as well. Just checking if there's a collectible. Nope. So yeah, big thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.